Hi, this is Rebekah
and Leslie
with the Geeky Girls Night In podcast. Geeky Girls Night In is a podcast with your fandom family sleepover style.
Empowering fans and creating inclusive fan spaces where we can all be ourselves.
So get your jammies,
grab a drink,
gather the fur babies,
and join the conversation.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us today.
Welcome.
Your Geeky Girls are back. We have an exciting show because I have all the gossip from Comic-Con.
It looked like so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy. I mean, every big show is there. So from big announcements for Wynnona Earp, lots of drama as usual for Supernatural, unveiling of the new Doctor, a few busts, to try the Buffy scavenger hunt. I'll let you guys know how that goes. So, yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
You're going to get all the gossip. And then, so, Leslie, you did something this week that I think you said relates to Gen Con. What'd you go to?
It sort of relates to Gen Con. This past weekend was Black Expo weekend here in Indianapolis. And Black Expo is a huge thing. Even when I was a kid, I'm not originally from Indianapolis. I'm from a small town called Kokomo. And you would have people planning outfits going to Black Expo weekend. They have a free concert in one of the parks here where it's like live performers, like famous performers and everything. But my company had a booth, and I volunteered at the booth. It's at the Indiana Convention Center, which is the same place that Gen Con was held. So it gave me a chance to kind of get a lay of the land, if you will. So, first of all, my feet hurt. So we're going to have to figure out something to do with my shoes. And in planning for Gen Con and what I was going to wear and things like that, I'm pretty conscientious about like my feet and walking and feet hurt, but I'm also an idiot and will wear the dumbest shoes to the dumbest thing. Like, for example, with Black Expo weekend, I was at the business luncheon, and it was a very nice dress-up type situation. And on the way out the door, my coworker was like, "Your purse is big enough. You should probably put some flip-flops in there." And I'm like, "That girl, that's tacky. I can't be in this fancy luncheon and have flip-flops in my purse," because I had on heels. And I went on this luncheon. We did the luncheon thing. Got out of the luncheon, and I kid you not, I saw like 15 women take their shoes off, pull sandals, pull flip-flops out of their purse and put them on.
Heck yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm like waddling back through the mall, like 5 miles, about to cry, having to sit 5 minutes because my feet hurt so bad. It was awful. So
flip-flops.
Yes. Well, initially I was going to wear my Chucks to Gen Con. A couple of things wrong with that. I have really wide feet, and so I can't wear Chucks with socks because my foot will absolutely not fit. And after a while, like, I bought the Chucks for a vanity purpose. They look cute. And I can only wear them for a little while because after a while my feet go numb in them. So, and I knew that. And I was being stupid. So I will actually have my sneakers on during the Gen Con event. And I'm going to try and hurry up and find some inserts to make it a little bit better. Because I volunteered at my company's booth. And I was on my feet on that hard concrete for 3 hours. And I was about to weep by the time I got home. So it kind of gave me some insight on what I need to expect. And I came home, and the fans of Gen Con Facebook page, I was like, it hurts. It hurts. My God, it hurts. And everybody gave me some helpful tips. So
I'm so glad you found them. That sounds like an awesome group.
They're so sweet. They all are. And also, because I'm going to Gen Con on a press pass, I started getting emails from companies that are going to be there. And they're like, "We're demoing this." And I'm just like, "Who are you and how did you get my email?" Because it's not even, because because when I signed up. I initially signed up under my personal email, not the Geeky Girl email.
Uh-huh.
And then when I signed up for the press pass, I signed with my Geeky Girl email, but they used my regular email. And so, like, they're sending these emails to my regular email, and I'm like, "You haven't found me. Who are you? Who sent you?"
Maybe you'll find some cool stuff there.
It sounds like fun. I'm bugged to roll up on some people. I'm really excited. So.
Nice.
That was pretty much my... Oh, and if you are going to the Hello from the Magic Tavern Friday show... Yeah, I did the Friday show. So if you're going to the Hello from the Magic Tavern Friday show, there is a group on Facebook called the Vermilion Minotaur, name of the tavern in Hello from the Magic Tavern. And we're going to try and meet up, either before or after. We're still in the planning stages because I think we're all procrastinators, but it's going to happen. So
nice.
Yes. That's about it.
That my favorite podcast came back this week, LeVar Burton Reads.
Was he on hiatus for a minute?
Yeah. So he came back. It makes me so happy.
Awesome. So let's get into it. Let's just dive in. Okay. So I know you left on Wednesday because I was monitoring USPS like a mother.
Yeah.
Got your shirt.
I got my Geeky Girl Guide shirt.
Like, I didn't get any work done those first few hours of work. I just kept refreshing. And I'm like, okay, well, it says it's in your area.
Yeah, so Leslie sent me my very first Geeky Girl Guide t-shirt. We put our art on it and got to represent it for the first time, which was so much fun. And I got stickers, and I handed the stickers out.
Awesome.
And I went to a podcasting panel and asked a question and told them, what podcast I had. So I'm trying to learn, so that we can even raise our bar even higher.
Very cool. So Wednesday you got in, did you immediately just jump into activities? Is that how it works?
Well, first of all, I was exhausted.
Imagine.
Already before I because I posted a blog post about this, but haven't actually pushed it out or promoted it yet. I will. Mm-hmm. But Monday night, I went to Brianna Buckmaster's album release party. So Brianna Buckmaster plays Sheriff Donna Hanscom in Supernatural. So she is one of the, cornerstones of the Wayward Sisters show that the CW, them disloyal bitches, passed on. But she's amazing. And so one thing about the Supernatural conventions is on Friday night there's always a free karaoke party and the cast comes and sings with you. And then on Saturday there's a concert because Rob Benedict, who plays Chuck, is he has an indie rock band. He's a proper musician. He's been singing, playing, writing, producing, performing for over 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And he has a really, well-respected indie rock band, and they give us a concert on Saturday, and the cast comes and sings. And so as a result, a lot of the cast members have sort of rediscovered or embraced their love of music, and with our, support, have been encouraged to kind of get back into doing more music. Well, Brianna decided she was going to do an album. She did a Kickstarter. It was funded in I think she said in less than 24 hours.
Wow.
Because we don't play as a fandom.
No.
And so it was her album release party. And, I don't go anywhere on a weeknight, but I was like, you know what? I had Wednesday off to go to Comic-Con. I'm going to go. I'm not going to get any sleep, but I'm going to support Brianna. And my whole review is up on Geeky Girl Guide, but she was amazing. I mean, she is just a really, just charismatic, amazing, sexy, strong woman. You know what I mean? You just love to be around her. And my sister Michelle says that she has what the kids are calling big dick energy. Everyone's using that term on Twitter. Some people say, just, where she's just completely comfortable in her own skin. And it's just very, I mean, she's fantastic. And her voice is great too. So it was, that's the kind of links I went through to drive over there and see her. And then a lot of the cast was there. Kim Rhodes was there.
Did Jensen sing? I don't I saw a clip, and I don't know if it was this year's Comic-Con or not, but he was singing Tennessee Whiskey.
Yeah, so he does the Saturday concerts a lot now. He'll come that night and sing with the band, which is Loud and Swain is the name of the band.
Okay.
So yeah, he started off being like, oh, I'm shy, and now he's Mr. Rockstar. So definitely our enthusiastic support has kind of drawn him out as well. But so Brianna's album is called Begin, and it has really great songs on it. She has kind of like a bluesy, she calls it a whiskey voice because it's very kind of a bluesy voice. And it's called Begin. Definitely you can get it anywhere, and I definitely recommend it. So
that's cool.
And I got to chat, and who else was there? Ruthie Connell was there. Gil McKinney was there. So a lot of the cast members came and supported her, which is so sweet. It's just nice to see their friendships. So it was a great experience. So I was already exhausted going into Wednesday. So Wednesday is called preview night, and most people don't have tickets to preview night because they give a very limited amount out. And then so you kind of get first shot at the exhibit hall and then see new shows. Since they're new, they don't necessarily have followings yet, all of them. But so usually they're not shows where you're like, oh my God, I missed it, because they're a lot of times they're new shows. I went early to do something with BBC America that they will not let me talk about yet. So
when will you get clearance on that?
I don't know, but stay tuned. Okay. So Wednesday, that was pretty much it, because you don't really go to the con on Wednesday unless you have a ticket. So I would say my big things were Doctor Who. That's what I wanted to see because the new Doctor. And so Jodie debuted at the panel. Supernatural panel I always go to see. Wynnona Earp. And then there were some really good sort of smaller panels. Oh, and John Barrowman. So, oh my God. Where do I even start? So I'll start with Doctor Who.
Okay.
Definitely the panel. First of all, thank you to the Wynnona Earp fan, Julissa, who helped hook me up with a Thursday Day badge. I'm telling you, the Wynnona Earp fandom is the gift that just never stops giving. But I'll get to that. So she's the reason I had a badge in the first place. But I left that panel so excited for the new Doctor.
That's so cool.
Because the new showrunner, he used to write with Russell Davies. He's a showrunner of Broadchurch. He's worked with Jodie, and he's been for ages in the Doctor Who family. So he's very well aware, and versed and loves the universe, but also is giving it a fresh start. And I think it's just what we need now. To me, the most important thing about the Doctor is that the Doctor never gives up on humanity. And I think a lot of us need that right now, for sure.
Yeah.
And, I grew up watching Doctor Who on PBS. And, when I was little, obviously I loved the show, and the Doctor was so funny and mischievous and lively, and the adventures, and to this day just the sound of the TARDIS makes me feel some kind of way, but I almost feel like I need the Doctor more now as an adult, because it's just, that's a hero that doesn't give up hope, that sees value in every person, and that there are better ways to solve problems than with violence. So it's something I think I need right now to see anyway.
Now, see, I saw, because like right after stuff previews at San Diego Comic-Con, it's almost instantly online.
Uh-huh.
And I saw the previews for the new Doctor Who. Now, as a disclaimer, I've never seen Doctor Who.
Okay.
But like when you talk about it being funny and this, that, and the other, this seemed gritty.
Well, the thing that I think also keeps Doctor Who going for a long time is that the format can be anything it wants to be from episode to episode, because you have the TARDIS and it goes literally anywhere in space and time. So you can have a historic episode with Vincent van Gogh one, and then the next one you can be 1,000 years in the future. You can do things that are funny and adventurous. You can do things that are scary. Like, you can literally do a different show every episode, and then of course the actors who are the main characters changes. So what stays the same? What stays the same is, well, first of all, the Doctor, what I was talking about, the Doctor's commitment to belief in humanity and the value of humanity. And then the TARDIS means hope. It means help is on the way. It means you have no limits. You can go anywhere and any place. And I think those are the things that make it keep going. And Jodie being the first woman Doctor, oh my God, when I was watching, they played a video at the beginning of fan reaction videos to watching her first trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And I cried. This little girl was jumping up and down, just losing, girl Doctor! And I was just like, oh my God, and she has that spirit. She has that uplifting, loving kind, you can just tell she has the talent, she has the chops, and she has the spirit for it. So they didn't want to tell us like anything at all, but you could tell they're just beyond thrilled to show us the show. So
when does it start up again?
They did not give us a date still.
Oh no. Okay.
But they just said, the crew that's been working on the show 10 plus years, we're like, yep, that's it. She's the Doctor. You can tell they really feel like they nailed it. So
Good.
I can't wait. And then after the Doctor Who panel, like half of the room ran over to see John Barrowman. So John Barrowman plays Captain Jack on the show. Mm-hmm. And he's also in Arrow.
Yes.
He's also in the UK, more so than here. He's a singer. He's also been on Broadway. And he's, very iconic for, being an out gay man and very pro human rights and pro LGBT rights. And he's just a showman. Like, everybody wants to go to his panel. Like, every year his panel is packed, even though he's not showing us any footage. He's not doing any giveaways. Like, he's literally just being him. And
I feel like him and Lance Bass should be BFFs. Like, they both give me that charismatic vibe, and I really think that they should hang out.
I don't know a lot about Lance Bass beyond being in sync. I know you do. But he's just over the top. He's ribald, how do you say it? He's hilarious. He came out in cosplay with like shorts, red, white, and blue.
Captain America outfit.
Yeah, he called it Capitana Americana or something. And, he always does cosplay. And then the first thing he does is always tell like a personal story, but he tells a story. You're laughing, you're peeing yourself. It's so funny. And then he sang us songs and takes a lot of audience questions. Basically, like, that's the most fun you'll have in a panel at Comic-Con or anywhere, is a John Barrowman panel.
That's cool.
So that was kind of my Doctor Who ones.
Okay.
So, I'm going to switch a little to, what were you saying?
I was saying, so this was Thursday at this point?
That was Thursday, uh-huh.
Okay, so you did Doctor Who, you did John Barrowman,
uh-huh.
And
then I actually...
Go ahead.
Then I actually went to pick up my son because he came in San Diego on Thursday.
Okay.
So.
And so was that pretty much the end of your day then on Thursday?
No, it started my Supernatural day, actually, because there was a Wayward Cocktails, so the Supernatural fan party, Jules' party, so, which was great. So this year for the Supernatural fans, so I've written about how amazing Comic-Con is for Supernatural fans. This year, I definitely detected a little more uneasiness in the fandom because... So I don't know if you heard, but a couple of, how many, was it 2? Basically when they, spoiler alert, but it's been a couple of years, when they killed Charlie Bradbury's character,
yes.
A great American hero stood up in the beginning and was like, hey, what the fuck?
I remember that. And didn't they all turn their backs?
Yeah, they cast it. And, there was a lot of, drama about that. And so the writers that wrote her death episode and that were instrumental in making that decision, Eugenie Ross Lemming and Brad Buckner, they were coming to the panel. And there was just a lot of kind of stress about it, because after the Charlie thing, basically after Robbie Thompson, who's like one of the best writers that ever had left the show, they kind of just went through and literally killed all of his characters, who also happened to be characters that were representative of LGBT communities of color. Like, basically, they are just people who don't get it. You know what I mean? It
kind of feels like that they're Donald Trump. And they're trying to get rid of, like, all the Obama stuff. That's what it sounds like.
Well, okay. So I'm not going to say that they are bad writers. They write some decent episodes. They write some good dialogue. They, get the family concepts of Supernatural, but they really don't get the fandom. They don't really get what inclusiveness means and how much it matters to people. At least Eugenie, in some of the commentary on one of the episodes, was very like, well, I don't know why they asked that question, and very dismissive, like, they just don't get it sort of thing.
And she don't realize that the fans make that show. Like, that show would not have been on for as many seasons as it's been on without the fans. So she might want to keep that cute.
Well, Curtis Armstrong was also, he's a great guy. He's an actor who played Metatron. And he was on that same commentary, and he was kind of saying, hey, but don't you feel glad that you made something people care about that much, that they are that upset about it? And he was trying to, be positive or whatever. But basically the thing is, any episode that you can think of in Supernatural's history that has just been sort of ham-fisted or tone-deaf when it came to race or sexuality, it was been written by them. Like, from everything from the racist truck episode to Man's Best Friend with Benefits, which was an episode about familiars, and
the Doberman Pinscher black lady.
Yeah, with the choker on her.
Yes.
And, they're the kind of people who'd be like, oh, yeah, there's nothing offensive, just a familiar. And you're like, yeah, when you never have black women in the show, ever, and then the one time you do, she's wears, like, a collar like she's a slave and she's a dog. Like,
Yeah.
Basically, whenever you see an episode where you just kind of suck air through your teeth and go, wow, you really don't get it, or you don't care to get it, it's been, that's who wrote it. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
And so I don't know that, I'm sure that they believe they're good allies and nothing is meant by anything, but clearly there's serious tone deafness there. And so, I mean, the reason the show is successful is in part because of them, but in part in spite of them,
Yeah.
And so here we have the panel where Wayward Sisters just made it was just a really big success. The fans loved it. The ratings were great. They did a heroic job, and the CW, like I said, disloyal bitches that they are, passed on it, but that would have been a great opportunity to have the Wayward women there, or to kind of share the spotlight with someone else. And so it just felt ungracious. It felt Oh God, what are the fans going to say? Well, they basically, I mean, this happened Sunday, but I'm just going to jump straight to it. Basically, of course, the panel was charming and wonderful as always because Rob and Rich were the moderators. And we got a long scene for the next season and the gag reel and all of those things. But they really mostly talked the whole time, so there was only time for like 2 fan questions.
Oh, they did that on purpose.
Yeah, I don't know, but it avoided a lot of awkwardness, I think. But you know, it's just one of those things, you know, where supernatural giveth and it taketh away. It doeth the 2 things.
Yeah. I saw. So, no, I am way behind on Supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
The last episode I saw, the lady from, I guess, England, the England chapter of the Men of Letters, showed up in their bunker and had a few words with Sam.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the last episode I saw.
Okay.
But I'm not one of those people that is like, oh my God, no spoilers, no spoilers. So I saw the preview for the next season, was incredibly confused when I saw Dean in like a suit and tie that was like tailored to him. Yeah. Not like the FBI shit. It was like actually tailored to him. He had on a hat and he looked damn good. So I'm like, and then his eyes glowed. I'm like, oh no, is he dead?
No, he's not.
No, I know. So I hopped on the wiki and was like, what the hell is going on? And I was like, oh, I should probably go back and watch this.
Now, about the outfit, I don't know if you saw my tweet. It was very cute, though. So it turns out whenever there's a wardrobe anything, like if he gets to wear something different, Jensen picks it out himself. He's very particular. Apparently the hat was a nod to Peaky Blinders, which is a great show, which he loves, apparently. I did not know that. And that he does not play when it comes to the wardrobe. Like, he's very particular. And him and Misha were joking that in the last Cowboy episode, like, he made sure he got a really nice Stetson, and then Misha was kind of stuck with this plasticky carnival. They called it a Carnival Barker type of hat. Poor costume department. They're complaining about them. But Jensen's basically like, oh, I make sure I'm squared away. Like, I make sure I'm wearing something nice. So that's all him. Really cute. And but it's definitely like, yeah, so he's Michael and he's gathering a group of people. It looks interesting. It looks like it could be really cool.
Does Sam know that he's...
I don't know. I haven't watched the finale yet.
Okay.
So I'm jumping ahead. After it's like the 14th season, I'm not worried about spoilers either. I'm going to catch up when I catch up. So, and another Twitter drama, because Supernatural's always got the Twitter drama.
I guess.
Was so last year. So Misha Collins fans feel very defensive of how they feel he is treated. So last year they gave him a tiny little chair as a joke on the panel. And,
sure.
And I'm a Misha Collins super fan. Like, I love the man, but I'm not necessarily one of those people. And they were like, oh, they're picking on him. They're so mean, you know, kind of thing. And I'm like, and it's funny because as I was leaving Hall H after last year, I was squeezing out actually with one of the cast members, one of the supporting cast members. And I won't say who because I want to get in trouble, but that person was like, oh my God, people should not worry about him. Like, you have no idea, like, the things he says and the things he does. Like, he has such an evil sense of humor himself that
you can tell.
Yeah, he's not a cinnamon roll. He's a little evil in a good way. But yeah, and so people were, you know, some fans were like, oh, they better be nice to him this year. And in a way it's cute because you're like, sweetheart, on Twitter, like, Misha's fine. But
right.
This year, of course, people were picking on him still, and he actually said, like, this, I'm taking this abuse, and he goes, well, it doesn't feel like abuse, it feels like love, right? You know, so Misha being the amazing person that he is, so he brought voter registration cards. He had people hand them out. And Jensen made a joke about, oh, he's trying to get that People's Choice Award again.
you know. And people got mad about that. They're like, how dare they, you know, because...
Oh, my God.
Well, look, Misha's better than everyone else. That's a fact. But that doesn't mean other people are bad. Like, yes, he's speaking out against family separations. He's raising money. He's registering people to vote. I think he's kind of unusual when it comes to actors. So, yeah, maybe he's awesome, you know.
Right.
And his awesomeness stands. And no matter what jokes they're making. And I do feel like they really, really love each other as a family. And
I think so, too.
Yeah, like, that's how Misha is. Like, he can have a very dark sense of humor. And I just think, you know, you don't have to like the jokes. You can be like, why would you joke about someone registering people to vote? That's fine. That's your prerogative. But it doesn't mean he doesn't love Misha. You know what I mean? And it doesn't minimize the awesomeness of Misha, because I love him. Because actually one of the 2 fan questions asked was, a guy said, oh, hey, so, you know, are there any sort of iconic or otherwise, you know, monsters that you guys would want to see in the show? And, or monsters that you want to fight still? And Misha said Donald Trump.
That would be so awesome.
And everybody went crazy, of course, you know. And then
But technically, they kind of did fight Donald Trump.
Yeah.
The season that the dick jokes, all the dick jokes.
I know, right?
That was the season of Donald Trump. Just
Donald
Trump.
Yeah. So of course, I mean, I love it because people who are actors don't want to probably they feel they don't want to disrespect their fan base who disagrees with them or whatever. But, you know, when it's your life out here on the line, when it's your freedom as a immigrant or a person of color, like, obviously, I feel that it's worth it to speak up. And obviously Misha does too, and I love him for it.
Yes.
So, yeah, but the wait in line for Supernatural panel was what it always is, which was really awesome. So many great fans. I mean, Supernatural has also really amazing fans and had a good time.
That's good. That's good. Now, like, I'm unfamiliar with Comic-Con except for Hall H, and I think somebody explained that to me a couple of years ago. I'm like, what's the big deal about Hall H? And people are like, oh, girl, let me show you. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, I know Hall H is where all the panels and stuff happen.
Well, it's where all the big panels happen. It's not where it's where the biggest panels happen.
Yeah. And then, is there I guess an artist alley? That's what they call it at Gen Con. Like, there's an artist alley where you can buy people's creations and things like that. I'm assuming they have one on a grand scale there.
Yeah, so the exhibit hall is like the size of a small city, and it's divided up. I think there's like a multi-year waiting list.
Wow.
To get in there. It has a video game section. It has like a publishing section. It has an art section. It's got everything. I mean, you could take a couple of the days just wandering around there. So that's definitely kind of the biggest monster area. But Hall H is the biggest one. And so when Marvel comes down with all the Avengers or Star Wars comes with all the original cast, like, that's where it is. So Hall H, it says it can pack in 6,130 attendees. But it's always more people want to get in than can. Now, this year it was actually pretty easy to get into Hall H for whatever reason. There was a lot of reasons that it was a little bit different this year.
What was that?
Well, Marvel movies didn't come, first of all.
They probably don't have anything for the next.
Nothing they're ready to talk about. Because when you show up, you need to show footage, you need to show sneak peeks, you know what I mean? So you kind of have to be ready to share a little bit, and they're really secretive.
Yeah.
So I think that was part of it. And neither Star Trek nor Star Wars had like a big anniversary. Like there wasn't anything super, super mega. There were some big things, like they had Venom, panel, Aquaman. You know, they did have some big things, but sometimes it's the biggest things in the world ever and multiple, and so it's a lot crazier.
Okay. So this would have been the year to go if
you want to get into Hall H and see the big panels. I mean, we still waited in line because it's just like our fandom sleepover for Supernatural. We want to be in the front row and we want to spend time with each other. So I get in these habits every year, and I was sitting next to the same people I was sitting next to last year because we actually got to the line about the same time. So hi Kelly, hi Ariel. And it was so awesome to hang out with them. And of course, make new friends. It's just the friendliest line in the place. You wouldn't know it from like Tumblr or Twitter, all the drama, but actually in person, the people who show up to these things, they're really awesome.
That's cool.
But I have to say, so highlight, though, if you want like the most amazing fandom, and part of that is not necessarily just the people, it's because of the show as well, is Wynnona Earp. So I think part of the problems with the Supernatural fandom is they did start 14 years ago. They did kind of make the show, I think, for 18 to 30-year-old dudes who, you know, they had a different idea of what kind of show they were going to make and who they were going to attract. And they have certainly tried to adjust, but they don't all the way get it. Some people do, a lot of the writers do that have come and gone, but they don't always get it. Now, and it kind of can cause this sort of fighting in the fandom because there isn't also any cohesive leadership about the arcs and a lot of the things. So, for example, with Dean and Cass being a ship where people want them to get together, some episodes you'll get something that very much indicates that, and some episodes will shut it down. So then you have fans on both sides arguing with each other, you know?
Right.
So whereas with Wynnona Earp, it just debuted a few years ago, they knew exactly, like, we're all on the same page. This is the kind of show we're going to make. This is who it's for. We have a same-sex relationship. You know, right off the bat, we're going to all the LGBT conventions. Like, this is who we are. And so I feel like because the comic book writer, the showrunner, everybody's on the same page, they could kind of come like together to the fandom, and they're very explicitly saying, we love our LGBT fans. We're having an LGBT relationship, and it's a main character. And so I feel like it kind of sets the stage where fans can it kind of attracts the people who have a similar, I guess, outlook. And then they reach out and try to involve fans in things. And
That's
so
cool.
I think, there's already like 2 editions of fan art books. And then when they came to Comic-Con, they were like, we're doing this all out. So they did 3 autograph sessions of 3 different days. Usually Cass only do 1.
Right.
They did a screening. They did a panel. And then, of course, the fans had a meetup. So they were just like, we are going to make sure you get to see us, you know?
That's really nice.
And they're just darling, and they're always interacting and like spotlighting the fans and bragging on the fans and trying to make the fans a part of it. So I got to actually meet the cast. Well, I met most of them last year, brag, but I didn't get to meet Shamir Anderson last year, who plays Deputy Xavier Dawes. And then I was not lucky enough to pull a ticket for the screening, which wasn't actually in a regular hall, so you had to get it screened. But again, one of the other fans, I swear to God, it's like the fandom is so generous. One of the fans, Alex, brought me a wristband that she won, and I got to go get their autographs. And so, Bo, who's the comic book artist, he's just darling. I don't know if it's because they're Canadian or what, but they're the sweetest, most humble people. Like everybody who was on the autograph panel. And then I said hi to Emily Andress, who's the showrunner. And I told her that I tell everyone about Wynnona Earp, and then I explain Wynnona as if Dean Winchester and Jessica Jones had a baby and just watched Buffy her whole life. And she was like, I like that. I'm going to use that. If she's being nice or not. But, I was like, okay, yes, we're on the same page. And then I got to see Shamir Anderson, who's gorgeous, and he gave me a big hug and a selfie because he walked by me before the autograph panel, and I was like, I survived it. It was awesome. And I saw, I saw all of them, but I also spoke to, so he saw a poster I had of the Power Rangers. So I picked up this poster of Power Rangers. And so I was telling him and Kat Barrel how when my son was a baby, because he's like, oh, I loved them my whole life. I was like, yeah, when my son was a baby, that's the lullabies he wanted was Power Ranger theme songs. So I know all the theme songs.
That's awesome.
And then I saw Dominique, who plays Waverly, and I told her about the Dom Squad. I was like, by the way, I kind of sort of founded the Dom Squad, and we think you're awesome and wonderful, role model and stuff. And she of course, was darling and miniature. Actresses are freaking pocket-sized. Yeah. So that was amazing. And so the Wynnona Earp fandom it really made my week, because that's why I got to go to the Doctor Who and John Barrowman panel. That's why I got to go to autograph people. I just put it in the group chat, and then it'd be like, oh, well, let me help you, and that's just the way they are.
Very cool. Very cool. Were there any sort of downsides to your Comic-Con weekend? Any interactions with other... did you get into any fist fights? No fist fights.
I would say the only thing that was just kind of like, what? Was the Buffy scavenger hunt. Because so I was really excited about that, and apparently a lot of other people were, because people still love Buffy. There's still a whole lot of love for Buffy, and it's been passed down, and younger people watch it. So I was really excited about it. What were you saying?
I was gonna say, did you hear, or did they talk about the fact that they're in talks to remake?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I saw that announcement. And that will bring renewed issues. So I registered for the scavenger hunt like 2 weeks before the con, and I was really looking forward to it. And they're sending us clues little by little by little, and so you have all of your clues by the time it comes. And I got my line buddy to cover me.
Sure.
First stop I went to, the first clue, we're out of all the swag. We're out of everything. Second one,
oh my God,
we're out of everything. Third, we're out of everything. Just go to the end at this restaurant at this time. Oh, okay. So I have my little card that I'm supposed to be getting filled. And then I'm supposed to be picking up swag at each station. So I got a sticker in the first stop. That was it. The other, and that was on my card. That wasn't swag or anything. And all of them were out. And so they were like, well, basically don't bother with the rest of them. Just go to the end, which is at a restaurant. Which was almost a mile away, because it was on the other side of the convention center. And I went, and the line was wrapped around the block, and they were like, yeah, we're only giving swag bags to the first 50 people. And I'm like, am I in the first 50? And they're like, no.
Oh my God, did they not prepare for all these people? Because if you had to sign up, they would have known.
Yeah, I think they just let everybody sign up the day of that wanted to, and completely lost control of how many things they were giving out, and they were just like, ugh, yeah, no. So it was a huge bummer, because there were people in line that were cosplayed. People love Buffy, and to get the opportunity to do something now and connect when it's a show that's been off the air for that long was really exciting for people, and so it was just a huge bust.
Did you find out what was in the swag bags?
No, I didn't.
Nah.
I didn't even ask. But I know that one of the women in line next to me at one of the stops got a Faith pop figure.
Oh, wow.
But she said that some of the people at the tables were just like, oh, we've just given out so many. They were just like, forget it, So that was the only one that was just kind of a bummer. A cool thing, there was a Rose Tico meetup. Did you see that?
A who now?
Rose Tico from Star Wars.
It is.
Okay, so the last Star Wars movie, The Last Jedi, there is a new character called, her name is Rose Tico. And she's played by Kelly Marie Tran, who I think it was her first movie. And she's the woman they basically bullied off of Twitter. She's this sweet little...
I didn't know her name in the thing. I just know her as Kelly Tran.
Oh, yeah. So, she's the sweetest little cinnamon roll ever. And when she came on social media, it was just just grateful to be there and like posting and sharing so much. And then,
and then people ran her off. They already ran off. Okay, so not to cut you up, but the Teen Titan, or they're not called the Teen Titans. The live action of the Titans. And they've already ran off Starfire.
So sad. Yeah, I mean, that's just ridiculous. People are
and that's
gross.
A whole other thing that we'll get into in another episode, because
it always happens to be women of color. It just happens to be, which is really gross. And also someone so darling and sweet. And anyway, they basically ran her off social media just by being horrible humans. So there was a Rose Tico meetup, which was very sweet. A whole bunch of people cosplaying her character, with signs that said they loved her. And then they got a ton of retweets from like Rian Johnson and Mark Hamill. So I hope, I know it's, she's had to deal with so much garbage. I hope that gave her a little bit of, smile, that there's a whole lot of people who also love her.
Yeah.
And then I would just quickly say so you always wanted to go to the smaller panels, like you can get surprised. So 2 panels that just were really standouts. One was called Heroes of Fandom, and it was about a lot of stuff that we talk about, which is people using fandom for good. So Misha was on it, Misha Collins, Yatide Bataki, I hope I'm saying that right, stunningly beautiful actress from American Gods, who has also done the indie film Wonderland, and Olin Rogers, Milana Vaintrub. It was basically a panel of just lovely, lovely human beings who use the fame that they have for good. And
that's cool.
There was a lot of very just inspirational, empowering. You left feeling like this whole fandom thing can be really good too, and Misha was talking about how Supernatural fandom has the peer support line and how fandoms really take care of each other. But he's like, guess what? We can also take care of the world. I got goosebumps. I was just like, and by the time that I went to that panel for Misha, by the time I left, I was in love with everyone on the panel, and I'm going to be following and like literally everything they do. And then the second smaller panel that was just a goddamn delight was celebrating pop culture and YA lit. Okay. So Mark Oshiro was there. His book is Anger's a Gift, and I love him. I've loved him for a while. He does Mark Watches, Mark Reads. Not Your Sidekick by C.B. Lee, who wrote Not Your Sidekick. Danica Stone, Jen Wild, and Britta London. So they all write YA with different degrees of pop culture folded in. And it was amazing, really, listening to people who are huge geeks and fangirls and boys who also create. And I think there is a little bit of a special fun in that. And out of the 4 of them I know were Supernatural fans, and I met 2 of them through Supernatural, and 2 of them talked about Supernatural. Supernatural's imprint is pretty important, and it was in the subject of Destiel, Dean and Cass. C.B. Lee actually said, Cass and Dean are in love, just do it, you cowards. And of course everybody went crazy. And I tweeted it, and it's definitely been my most popular tweet, but I ended up actually taking it down because people, people started arguing, and I'm like, oh my God, I tagged all these authors, and they're going to keep getting these notifications. But, and Britta London, who wrote Ship It, is a Supernatural fan, and she writes on Riverdale, and she said, this was one of my favorite quotes of the panel, because they were talking about that. There's a lot of power behind having your ship go canon, but if you know they're gay, you don't need some dude bro showrunner to confirm it. So there was a lot of talk about there's power. We want it to be representative, but your stories also matter, and your writing and your beliefs also matter, which I am so in agreement with.
I wonder with Dean being Michael this season and and all of that, I wonder, because angels don't have the same hangups as
humans.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
Well, humans are. I mean, angels are genderless. It's not going to happen, though. I mean, not because the same people are in charge since the beginning, and it's not going to. But it was a very cute moment where you're like, oh, this person's a fangirl like us, and she's like this amazing, successful author, and like, I don't know, it was very inspiring and aspirational. And again, you left feeling very, very uplifted and inspired. Like, I just wanted to go and write. So.
Awesome.
Okay, so I think that probably wraps the Comic-Con stuff up for now.
Okay, very cool. That was a lot. So I think we're gonna go ahead.
Yeah, we're definitely getting to the end. So, but hopefully you guys kind of get a feel for what Comic-Con is like, and maybe next time I'll see some of y'all there.
That'd be very exciting. So, or hey, Comic-Con, you can give one of us a press pass.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Super. Thank you. Promise we would cover it to the best of our ability.
Absolutely.
So there's that.
All right.
Trying to think what else. Yeah, 1 week till Gen Con. If you see me out and about, make sure you stop me. You say, hey, we can get a picture together. You can get a sticker from me. I also have a t-shirt with our art on it, so you can't miss me.
Yeah.
Also, I ordered, Just My Size had zip-up hoodies on sale for like $13 a piece. So I bought two.
Nice.
And one of them was black, and hopefully I had paid like shortly before Gen Con. So I'm going to run down to your tees. Shout out to Tyler, because he's the one that did our shirts. And maybe get a smaller version of our art on the sweatshirt. So
cool.
We'll see how that goes.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for joining us today. Since we are podcast newbies, it would mean a lot to us if you'd subscribe and rate us on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Also, we love to hear from our listeners. Leave us a voicemail at 785-746-2604. Email us at ask@geekygirlguide.com, or hit us up on social media at Geeky Girl Guide, all one word, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
And remember, in the words of the great John Barrowman, never apologize for being nerdy. Until next time.